Good morning, gamers. This is Mark with your Ohiohammer RnR for the week ending August 19th, 2012. Well, guys, this is the week of Gencon. Gencon is ending today as I record this. So we're in kind of a weird spot where there's not a lot of real release information. So while normally this might be a short R&R, but the photos of some of the stuff that was put out at Gencon really kind of pick up a lot of the slack. We're going to start off this week as usual with Animator Games. Now they've went ahead and released greens for the Sea Demon Shaman as well as the Chocolate Scientist. Their pledge drive is going quite well, having already unlocked one miniature and well on the way to a second. Again, if you have any interest in helping the Animator Games pledge drive, their website is www.antimatter-games.com/deepwars. Okay, guys, and with that, we go into some of the Gencon photos for Fantasy Flight Games Dust Tactics, or Dust Warfare. I do want to thank Tabletop Fix for a lot of these photos. I'm not sure if they were the originators or not, but they're the site that I went ahead and pulled these off of. So there's quite a few new models being displayed by Fantasy Flight Games for Dust. So it's nice to see that Dust is going strong. Now, into Spartan Games. Spartan Games is probably going to take up the majority of R&R, between them showing off the sculpts for the Polish-Lithuanian Sky Fortress. There's a Prussian airship, and to go with those are some Prussian armored ground troops and a tank. And we're not done with Spartan Games. Over for Firestorm Armada, they've given us previews of 2 ships from the Infected. There are 3 photos of the Syndicate in their modular way station. This thing just looks really, really cool. So, if you haven't had a chance to check this out, guys, it's just neat looking. It kind of has that Lego build it how you want it look. And then there's some sleek looking ships, again from the Syndicate. They kind of have a very Star Wars, Naboo, Starfighter vibe to me. Spartan Games put out a news release. They would be putting out a 32mm heroic scale game of Dystopian Legions. They would expand upon the Dystopian Wars universe. And again, Tabletop Fix has provided about a dozen photos showing off some of the sculpts of both the tanks and the infantry for this new product. Now, Infinity, not to be left out, has went ahead and put out a display case that shows quite a few of the miniatures that they got coming up that tie into their new campaign book. Now, into the world of Kickstarter. We start out with Dreamforge Games has went ahead and started a Kickstarter entitled Something Wicked This Way Comes. And they are attempting to do a Kickstarter to make plastic versions of their full-sized Leviathan Crusader. They're asking $30,000 for the project to be successful, and I believe it's 31 days, and by 28 days they're already over halfway there. There are pledge goals for one Leviathan Crusader for $89, going up to a pledge goal for 4 Leviathan Crusaders That would make them each $75. So if you have an interest in something like this, get a bunch of friends together and each throw in, about the cost of a Land Raider now, and get yourself an 8.5-inch high plastic Titan. Mark Mondragon has also went ahead and put into that some of his Stormtrooper models. So you can get quite a range of items from the Dreamforge Games Kickstarter. Be sure to check that out, and I'll be posting updates in the next couple of weeks as we go. Now, on to my favorite Kickstarter. This game has just, grabbed me by the hairs and just really sucked me in. Gencon had quite a few pictures of models for Soda Pop Miniatures Relic Knights line. Cool Mini had a above-the-rack display with quite a few of the models painted up and in it for the Relic Knights line. And it isn't until I get to like the Shattered Sword and the Doctrine Werewolf and the Assault Armor for the Black Diamonds in the last picture, you realize that some of these models are on 80mm bases and are just huge. So it's really starting to, to stoke that fire of this giant assault mecha on the table. So, this is just one of those Kickstarters that I've been checking, daily and active in the comments and just doing whatever I can to help drive interest. At Gencon, they did go ahead and make up a gameplay video. If you go ahead and go to Kickstarter.com and search Relic, one of the first projects matching Relic should be Relic Knights. And right there on the front page is a gameplay video which gives you a really cool idea of how this game plays. We're already at $174,000, so this project has been funded. We're into stretch goals. The first couple stretch goals after the 6 factions have been some really interesting quality of life type upgrades. The casino cards, if you're used to, if you think about weird miniatures in their puppet deck, or, just a good set of like bicycle playing cards to have that, thicker core so you're not feeling like you're wearing out the cards using them. Those are now involved in Relic Knights. And they've also done out plastic game tokens instead of the little cardboard punch jets that everybody seems to use. They end up tearing as you punch them out. So I'm like I said, I'm very interested, and I'm sorry guys, I will be toting this for the next 3 weeks until this ends. And I'm sure I will be toting every single release that comes out for this. This game has just got me, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, moving back away from Gencon into just the normal release schedule. Cromlech has went ahead and given us 2 new tank turrets. The first one being a Gatling laser type turret, and the second one being a shorter Demolisher-esque barrel turret. They're both a hair over $13, and as usual, Cromlech does use eBay as their store. Privateer Press, and of course by the time you hear this, you literally have this Sunday only to get into this. If not, this Sunday by the time Gencon ends. Privateer Press has 2 con-exclusive minis, Druid Gone Wilder and the Bombardier Bombshell. They sold out of both the sculpts at the show within the first day. They are available online. I believe the Druid is $13, $14, and the Bombardier is $20. So if you didn't manage to get these, from Privateer, be sure to start looking at eBay, and I'm sure the prices will also be a little bit higher. Cyber Miniatures has put out a couple really cool looking large monsters with rider kits. The first one is an Ogre War Rhino Rider. I mean, this thing looks just huge. I think the base is a 75 by 40 millimeter base. He's clearly overlapping the base at the front by quite a bit. And some of the detail on this. The picture is really dark. I got that directly from Cybor. All the pictures for this were really dark, so it is kind of hard to make out some of the detail. But the second thing being released is the Moscow's General on Warble, also known as Chaos Dwarf on Great Taurus. Again, you have a highly detailed model. I didn't catch if it was resin or metal, on a scenic base for €42. I mean, this is just one beautifully intricate looking model. So if you're a Chaos Dwarf player and need a Great Taurus, I think this might be a good one to check out. So, guys, with that, again, there wasn't a lot of actual news. It was more items from Gencon. But, I hope you enjoyed, and I can only assume that as everyone gets back this week in Starstruck cover from post-Gencon, we're going to see a lot of press releases about some of the things that we saw at Gencon, just outlining what kind of release schedule we'd see on these. So, but guys, this is Mark, and this has been the Ohiohammer RnR for the week of Gencon 2012. Enjoy!
This podcast was brought to you by the Ohiohammer Network of Podcasts. If you liked the show, please check out our site, www.ohiohammer.com, and follow us on Twitter. Our addresses are at Ohiohammer2011, at Jake_Ohiohammer, at Mark Dieter, and at Ken_Second Founding. We ask that if you like the show, please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Remember, all products and companies talked about on this podcast are the respective property of their owners, and the Ohiohammer Network makes no claim to said property. As always, guys, enjoy the site, enjoy the podcast, and enjoy the game.